This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello and welcome. It's Thursday, November 11th, and this is Orlando Sentinel Now. Today, we're talking about the latest updates in the Markeith Loyd trial, plus what's going on in high school football. I'm your host, Joe Mario Pedersen, and joining me today, I have court reporter Markeith Cordero and high school sports reporter JC Carnahan. Thank you both so much for being here today. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Coming at you with our first story here today, Markeith Loyd, who was found last week guilty of first-degree murder for the killing of Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton in 2017. Now, as court proceedings move on into the death penalty phase, the prosecution is asking a judge to step aside after ruling police beating evidence will be allowed in a limited capacity. Markeith, turning this over to you now, in talking about the police beating evidence. This was originally ruled out of the death penalty phase, and now it's brought back in. Can you tell us more about why?
Yeah, so everything is kind of a mess with this trial. But if you'll remember, after Lieutenant Clayton's killing, Markeith Loyd was on the run for about 9 days, and he was found at a home in Carver Shores. And he was beaten by the police, by 4 OPD officers, as he was surrendering. As you said, Marquez said that this evidence could not come in during the guilt phase or the death penalty phase of his trial. But she said in her earlier ruling, allowing some of this evidence in, that listening to Loyd on the stand talking about his lifelong fear of police, that changed things. And so she put in a ruling that they could present very limited evidence of this police beating, including like a 2-minute helicopter video that had been enhanced. And so then shortly after that, yesterday, the prosecution asked her to step aside from the case because they said that she was, relying on her own thoughts in making this move and not so much on the defense's argument.
In regards to the prosecution here, in reading the report, they've described that this decision has actually put their strategy into shambles. How exactly did it kind of torch things for them?
Right. Well, so they're saying that, during jury selection, because they thought that this police beating evidence wasn't coming in, they didn't ask jurors about that. They asked them about the death penalty and their feelings on, different subjects, but not specifically, their feelings on law enforcement's use of force. And so what they're saying is that, they didn't have time to prepare. They don't know how the jurors feel about that particular subject. And so now, aside from not knowing how the jurors feel, they also, haven't prepared in, getting witnesses to counter this. And so they told the judge last week that they needed more time to prepare. And if you remember, the death penalty phase is supposed to start shortly after the guilt phase. Now it's going to start November 29th because they asked for this delay to be able to prepare.
In regard to the prosecution asking the judge to step aside, what comes next in that affair?
Well, at this point, the judge herself would have to make a ruling, right? And then it would go through the appeal process. And honestly, it's kind of a little bit up in the air as to what happens, but we'll see.
Absolutely. More developments in that story sure to come, and we'll be keeping up with them. You can keep up with that by following Markeith's stories at orlandosentinel.com. Markeith, thank you so much. All right, JC, I want to come over to you now to talk about high school football as we enter the first week of playoffs. Playoffs? We do want to talk about playoffs this week. So that being the case, JC, what are we expecting to see?
Well, we've got 21 teams from the Orlando area that did make the FHSAA playoffs. And kicking off Friday, we've only got 2 games that feature a local versus local matchup. But a lot of local teams are playing at home. You've got West Orange, Boone, Apopka, several teams playing at home in the first round of playoffs, also including Jones High School. Last week, Jones High coach Elijah Williams ended up wrapping up his 100th career win as a head coach here in the Orlando area. That actually makes him the 7th active head coach in this area with 100 wins. Joins coaches at Bishop Moore and Timber Creek, also at Winter Park in the First Academy, also Lake Mary and Dr. Phillips. So it's a pretty cool thing, a pretty cool milestone to reach there heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely. A great way to enter the playoffs. Congratulations to him and congratulations, Joan High. In regard to top games this week, what are you looking forward to most, JC?
We have a Seminole County versus Orange County matchup, two of them actually. Defending Class 8A state champion Sanford Seminole is hosting Winter Park. They were actually the number one seed out of all Class 8A teams. So that means that if Seminole can find a way to reach the state semifinals, they would actually play at home in that round as well. So the other matchup, you've got Timber Creek hosting Lake Mary. It's going to be an interesting matchup there when you look at Lake Mary quarterback Gunnar Smith. He's actually set career records for passing touchdowns and passing yards in Seminole County. He's going to go up against a tough Timber Creek defense in that matchup. So if you're looking to get out and enjoy some high school football in the first round of the playoffs, those two games might be the games to check out. And of course, as always, follow up on our playoff coverage at sentinelvarsity.com.
There you go. Be on the lookout for that. JC, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, before we all leave you today, we do want to talk about Thursday's weather presented by Premier Sotheby's International Realty. The weather in Orlando Thursday is going to be another wet day as showers come into Central Florida with odds at 40%. Showers are forecast for Friday and Saturday as well, but the skies clear up Sunday and Monday. Thursday's temperature is forecast for a high of 80 degrees and a low of 66 in the evening. Friday is about the same, but temperatures should dip into cooler territory, reaching a low of 54 Sunday and a cooler low of 47 on Monday. Be sure to get that sweater ready. And to find out more about that, you can visit orlandosentinel.com for more information on the weather, as well as the stories that we talked about here today as well. For those of you who are subscribers to the Orlando Sentinel, thank you so much for supporting work like this and supporting local journalism. If you want to become a supporter, it's easy to do so. All you need to do is visit orlandosentinel.com/subscribe. But as for OSN, that will do it for us today. A big thank you to Monavet and JC for keeping us filled in what's going on in our community. We'll be back again with more news tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.